Good to have you with us from across the country. We're going to go live right now to Winnipeg, where wildfire officials in Manitoba giving us an update on the situation in that province, including a fire near Flin Flon in the northern part of Manitoba that we're tracking. Let's listen in here.
That's why we made the decision earlier in the evening there, given it was moving about 2 kilometers an hour and Cranberry was right in the way there. We were quite concerned, and we didn't take it lightly, and we evacuated the 500 residents of Cranberry Portage to La Pas. Subsequently, we've been manning up the area and working with the Office of the Fire Commissioner and our Valley Protection staff to protect all the structures. We put what's called sprinklers on the buildings to protect them, and if we can get in there about 2 hours before a fire goes through, it has a good chance of saving the building when the fires go through. I've been working in wildfire for 40 years. I've never seen a fire move like this fire moved. We get calls, why didn't you do something to stop it? We used water bombers from both Manitoba and Saskatchewan to protect people's property. Life was the first priority, and then property. And quite frankly, we just couldn't put people in front of the path of that fire at that speed. And, appreciating that this is a huge inconvenience for people, but we wanted to protect their lives, and then secondly, protect the property. So we did so, and with the utmost of consideration. And at this time, we're working on building an incident management team to manage that incident. We're bringing in firefighters from Ontario to assist us today. They're arriving, and so we have a total of 50 firefighters coming in from out of province in the next couple of days, 10 crews, and so we're working with our partners in Saskatchewan and Ontario and the rest of Canada to assist us with this project. And the highway in between Cranberry Portage and Flin Flon is closed, and we're working with the RCMP and the Office of the Fire Commissioner to make some decisions to hopefully open that up later on today. The road into Sheridan is been compromised by the fire. So we're concerned about that one, so that'll be a priority so we can get that road open into the community. And that's the basic facts on the fire.
Has it grown or shrunk, or is it in a holding pattern today?
No, the fire hasn't changed since Saturday. It's still at the 31,500 hectares.
And any estimates on damage, properties destroyed, cabins, cottages?
Yeah, for the most part, there was some damage, but very minor damage. Some considerations that we're going to be reaching out to the folks, but we're not prepared to say anything at this time.
How long could a fire like this last? Is this the type of thing where does it burn itself out? Is there a way to fully extinguish it? Or can you tell us a little bit about that kind of a combating the fire approach?
Usually this time of year, the soil is fairly moist and a fire will whip over the surface. Unfortunately, because we're in a drought situation, fires burn down deep, and this fire will be burning down deep. Some of the staff on scene were telling me some of the areas with great big trees were toppling over because it burnt deep into the roots, and then the trees fell over. So that requires a lot of work to extinguish, is digging down into the fire and then putting water in there, a whole bunch of water. It's going to take a lot of water. And just for some folks know this, water bombers don't put out fires. Water bombers will help us protect some assets, and it'll also give us a chance to put some crews in, given the fire behavior is an extreme. On Saturday, we had what's called rank 5 and 6, extreme fire behavior. You can't do anything with that type of fire. Later on, when on a day like today, we can start putting crews in, having the water bombers cool the area down, and then putting the crews in afterwards.
How many crews do you have right now? And you've got some from out of province.
Yeah, we're getting some out of province. Right now on scene there, we have about 50 firefighters, and then we're going to be adding to that.
Is the fire still moving closer to Cranberry Portage?
The fire hasn't moved at all since Saturday. So then the crews are working to protect Cranberry Portage and secure that area. That's the number one priority at this time.
You've said you've never seen a fire like that. Is it because it's earlier in the season? Is it because it's bigger?
A whole bunch of things, because it's burning down so deep. The speed that it covered, 2 kilometers over about 2.3 kilometers per hour. Unbelievable, 43, 44 kilometers in a day and a bit. And then it was growing 2 kilometers on the head, the front of the fire. On the flanks, it was growing over a kilometer an hour on the sides. In spots, it was burning against the wind, and it was still roaring along against the wind. So it's we haven't seen that, and it's a combination of the extreme drought conditions and the high winds.
We had smoke here in Winnipeg. Do we know if that smoke was from this fire?
Yeah, so it would be based on the wind coming out of the northwest, it blew it down towards Winnipeg. And a fire that size would produce a lot of smoke. And it was, when it burnt, it was burning very, very hot when it went through there. So all the material got burnt up pretty good as it passed through the trees.
Based on the forecast, is there any chance that there could be more smoke coming this way?
There could be smoke coming this way. And also, although the fire hasn't grown any, that's a huge fire. It's going to require a lot of work. Somebody asked earlier about how long it's going to take. We could be fighting that fire a month from now. So it's going to be a lot of work to put out that fire. So we're going to do the best we can. And the maps that I provided, you can see it goes all the way from Flin Flon to Cranberry Portage. So you have Flin Flon, the city of Flin Flon, Cranberry Portage, Baker's Narrows. There is a lot of infrastructure. There's logging operations occurring in that area. You got a railroad that goes in to take out to the ore out of Flin Flon, and then you got the communities of Cold Lake, Sheridan, and Puckatawagan that are serviced by the rail line to the north. So a lot of infrastructure along with the hydro. Hydro's off in Cranberry Portage. They're working to restore the hydro. The power was restored last night to Baker's Narrows. So a lot of work with that. MTS is trying to restore some of the communications there as well.
Is the province setting up any clean air centers for folks in the area?
It's being monitored, and so what the health folks do is they have priority 1 and 2 people. So if the communities to the south of Cranberry Portage get inundated with smoke, they'll look at moving some of those people out. But we're not in that situation at this time.
You talked about communication outages. How to make sure that the information is conveyed to the people out there?
To the fire crews or?
Crews and people.
Yeah, so they're setting up some emergency repeaters to provide that information, and then MTS has been working with us to get in there and establish some of their fiber optic stuff to get communication going again.
And the CBC Saskatchewan is wondering, are you collaborating with people in Saskatchewan? Is it expected that people from Manitoba are going to be moved to Saskatchewan? Is there like a relation with Saskatchewan?
We definitely have a relationship with the Saskatchewan Wildfire Service. We're working with those folks. In terms of evacuation, that's up to the EMO and those coordination people to set that type of stuff up. Thanks.
How does this fire season compare to, say, this time last year in terms of fires or hectare fires?
We're about the same. We're it hasn't changed. It's just this one particular fire is a growing concern of where it was located and the impact on the people of that area, and closing down a major highway that services the city of Flin Flon. So it's an issue.
The number of fires is about the same?
Yes. Yeah.
I also wondered, the school division, I know, had asked if they, I know they're asking permission to go back in to install generators because they're worried about their...
Yeah, we set that up this afternoon, and we're working with the local stakeholders to do things like that. We're working with health, any of their medical transfers, getting medical supplies in, anything like that. We're working fuel. So we're working with all the stakeholders to ensure that supply chain issues aren't impacted, the schooling and stuff like that, the best that we can.